it up. What's good, people? What is up? What is up? They went from the 4th level of hell and sent us down to the 7th level of hell. Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. What?
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really hello, casting, wardrobe, y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not going to see it? We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, baby, you ate on this first date, you giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's our new theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. This what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Ooh, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was going to, I thought Lil Bird was going to turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation. I tried to find out if Lil Bird was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Girl. Uncle Clifford, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. What he had on looked like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yana Van Zam's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped here everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. Like, you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. And Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the 3 kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see Cassie. Get me up in my DMs, I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue, jock strap, something like that. I'd love to see it. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy.
Jesus Christ, Superstar. What is going on, y'all? Let me put some banners or something up. It look real naked around here. Let's see what we can put up. Let's put some up. Hey, y'all. Hey. Cha. Put something up. I was looking real naked. Lord. Jesus. Anyway, what is up? How are y'all doing today? I'm doing well. I got a lot of lives today. Just got off Teacher Project 2.0. Shout out to really be in the Teacher Project 2.0. We have this live. We have a live coming up at 7:30 on Darren Green's channel. I also have an announcement and a programming note for later this at the end of the program. So mods or hall monitors or somebody at the end, don't forget to remind me to make the announcement. Somebody's going to forget, because what we have to go through today is pretty wild and there's a lot to unpack here. So I know you may forget, but if somebody can remind me at the end of the program to make an announcement at the end of the program that I think you all will be excited about. So let me say hey to y'all before we get this party started. Hey, Willow says, I was literally looking for your contact information so I can send you this link. Child, I watched it. Hey, L Love, how are you, my love? Diamond Pro Jim, good to see you. Hey, So Jeff, you just re-upped your membership. Well, thank you, sir. So Jefferson Hall monitor here. Can't wait to hear this break. Child quintessential. Listen. How you doing today, quintessential? Catherine Powell, good to see you. Tracy W, good to have you here. Devo Foster, I'm glad you're here. Tanya, hey boo. There go my boo. Hey Tanya, boo. Um, Jeannie, how you doing today, boo? Crazy homebody girl is in the building. Symmetry is here. Spicy original is here. All the people are in place. Lovely True Red, how are you? And Shondo to you and yours as well. Sean, what's good? Five, what's good? Yo to you, sir. Demetria Glenn, what's going on? Opal, how are you? Lovely 31. Blueprint is here. Montrez, what's good, bruh? Earl Land, how are you, sir? How you doing today? How's everything going? Got that big bright smile going. Bilo DD is in the place. Your chat not working, Montrez. I need you to get the chat working. Moesha stand account. Ciao. Ciao. Y'all know I don't see it for that girl, Moesha or Brandy. Ciao. Girl. Girl. Anyway, y'all, we have to break this down. Listen, I was going to do a regular run your mouth today. I really was, y'all. Hey, Tracy C. I was going to do a regular run your mouth today, y'all. And I watched this debacle as it happened. We talked about this yesterday. What debacle? I'm glad you asked. Yesterday, if you were here on Run Your Mouth, we talked about the fact that Donald John Trump was slated to have a sit-down question and answer interview with some journalists down to the National Association of Black Journalists convention that they're having in the great city of Chicago, which starts today. Black journalists all over the place started going in and letting have, started dog walking the administration and leadership down to the NABJ. One of the members of the leadership of NABJ stepped down because of this. Hey, Nessa. And it was just a whole situation yesterday on Twitter and social media where black journalists alike were just going off about how could they have this demagogue on, a platform, so revered within the journalistic community as the NABJ. Well, they didn't back off. And so it happened. And as it happened, I watched it and I said, oh, it's as bad as you thought it would be. So we're going to break this down today. I got it up, primed, and ready to go. It is up. It is ready to go. Listen, when I tell y'all it is as bad as you think it should be, as you would think it would be, it's just as bad as you think. It's awful. It was just a damn mess. Just a damn mess. So we're gonna watch this. We're gonna break it down. We'll pause at moments so that you have the opportunity to give your commentary. If anybody would like to come up and add commentary with me, here's the link. If you want to come up and add your voice to it and add the commentary to it, hall monitors, there's the link for you to periodically put in the chat. So yeah, I am aware of that, Demetria. She did say, listen, my schedule won't allow me to be there in person, but I can do a virtual Q&A, via Zoom or things like that. They said no. You'll hear Donald John reference that in this Q&A. It was just a mess. Listen, share this video out, hit the like button. We need y'all to get this in front of as many people because a lot of people didn't see it. They're going to probably just see clips and snippets. We're going to show the whole thing in its entirety and break it down so that you can see all of it, see the context with which things were said, and can go from there. So make sure you share the video out. Make sure you hit the like button. All of those good that I'm trying to promote the not that I'm trying to promote the channel, but I do think that it's important that these things are brought to light. And so we can fully flush out and see these people for who they are. So yeah. Anyway, Sean Kinsey said President Biden was already confirmed for this convention, and maybe after he no longer was the candidate, that may have changed. However, we're here. Go ahead and put a 27 in the chat if you are ready to get this started. If you are ready to get this started, you can put a 27 or a Shondo in the chat. We're ready to get this party started and break this down and add our commentary to what's being said. Because we just can't let this man just put all of this stuff out there. And there was some pushback that he get. I ain't gonna, you know what? I ain't gonna even tell you. I'm gonna just let you watch it. Because some of y'all didn't see it. Some of y'all been at work all day. And y'all need to know what happened. And y'all don't get a chance to see this stuff at work. Because y'all got to be in there working. So we're gonna watch this thing together. Okay. The link has been dropped. If you want to come up and add your commentary, the link has been dropped. Cha. So if y'all ready, if you're ready to watch, here we go. Hey, Sharice. Hey, by the way, hey, everybody coming in. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
let me know if y'all can hear it.
To the 49th Annual National Association of Black Journalists Convention and Career Fair.
Let me know if you can hear it.
We are about to begin a conversation with former President Donald Trump. We ask that the professionalism that we all bring to our newsrooms and workplaces every day is the same professionalism that is maintained in this arena.
Hey, Pinky Tiki.
Please welcome to the stage ABC News senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. Semaphore political reporter Kadia Goba.
Hey, Ravine.
And anchor of the Faulkner Focus and co-host of Outnumbered on Fox News, Harris Faulkner.
NABJ. Mic's on? Hear me? There we go. Test. Good afternoon, NABJ, and welcome to a conversation with former President Donald Trump. This discussion continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president, and the impact of those policies, especially in Black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former President of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
Let me pause before he gets started. Did y'all hear the host say, oh, we expect you to maintain the same amount of professionalism in this arena that you do every day on your jobs as professional journalists? Baby, we don't need all of these rules and provisos and stuff like that. Bring his ass out here. Now, let me just let it play. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna stop it periodically. I'm just gonna let it play. Here we go.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe that Black voters should trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the Black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here.
Hold on. This is how we're starting, people. I just want you to let's take a moment. Let's gather ourselves. This is how we're starting. Okay. Where the fuck do we go from here? We are starting here. The lady asked him a question. He said, you don't even tell me hello. Well, sir, she did tell you hello. She did say, thank you for being here, Mr. President, and all of that good stuff. And he came right out. I think it's very disrespectful. Wait, what? When what? He questioned, aren't you a part of ABC? This is where we are. This is how we're starting. This is one question in, and he is already trying to diminish this woman, who she is, and her credibility. He talked about the network that she works for. He lied and said that she wasn't pleasant to him, and she didn't say hello to him when he first came up. He then talked about the equipment not working and it being her fault that the equipment was not working. Listen, this is where we are. Now, he said he's done more for us Black people than any other president since Abraham Lincoln. You heard her say even more than President Johnson, who gave us the Civil Rights Act. But yeah, he didn't want to hear that. He also said says that he saved HBCUs. He did. Hey, everybody coming in. I know some of y'all done came in since we started. And hello to you all collectively. But he says that he saved HBCUs. Not true. Not true at all. He basically he added his little jab in there about Kamala not being there and stuff like. You knew that was gonna come. But yes, Sean, this is gaslighting 101. If you want a case study in gaslighting, you can literally watch this and break it down. So from question number 1, you know point blank, he ain't here for this woman right here. He's not here for her. Now he's here for Harris Faulkner, because Harris Faulkner, who's the lady you're going to see, she has on like the pink. She's on the opposite end, on the far end. You'll see her in a second. She's a Fox News. She has a show on Fox News. So you can imagine that he'll be, pleasant to her. But baby, listen, he's coming out right from the beginning, guns a-blazing. He didn't want no parts of this woman. This woman could have came out there and says, "Hello, Mr. Trump. How are you today? Can you tell me, can you outline to me some of the major points of your campaign?" He still would have said such a nasty question. Like, really? Really? This is exactly why you should have never had him on there. He doesn't respect black people or black journalists. The only reason he's going to give credence or try to be pleasant to Harris Faulkner is because she aligns herself with his level brand of fuck shit and fuckery. So he's going to come out here and spew lies, because here's what I would have did. I would have stopped him right there. I would have had the facts right there and said, "Hey, sir, no, you did not save HBCUs. You did that. You categorically did not do that." But we'll continue. Let's continue.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago, when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always identified as a Black woman. She went to a historically Black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have said?
know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about...
Hold on. Let's pause. He asked her, what's the definition of DEI? Because now y'all might say, why is he asking her that? I think it was a fair question. Why? Because him and his people descended from the Caucasus Mountains, some of the racist and bigots out there have their own separate definition of the term DEI, which in their estimation is no more than the N-word hard ER. And so when the woman came right out and said diversity, equity, and inclusion, can you give me the definition? I literally just gave it to you, sir. Okay, and then here we are now. He oh dear God, because this is what you're going to hear all over the place. This is what you're going to hear all over the place tonight. This will be the talk. This will be the sound bite all night. Let me see if I can get this sound bite back, because this is going to be the sound bite about him saying that she turned black is what you're going to hear all night. Let me see if I can get that for you. Hold on.
Indian heritage. I didn't know
Okay,
she was
let me
black.
go back a little bit more. Hold
Do you
on.
believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black
I
woman. She went to a
respect either
historically black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't
said?
know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this.
You notice how he said she had a nasty tone talking about this beautiful journalist right here. You notice how he said she had a nasty tone. He also says I respect either one, meaning whether she's Indian or black, but she doesn't. Directly trying to, these are dog whistles saying, oh, she doesn't respect her blackness. That's what he's trying to allude to, that she's not, he's going down the road. Oh, she doesn't want to be black. She's not black enough, or she doesn't claim her blackness unless it's advantageous. Mind you, this woman has been black her whole life, has always claimed her blackness, went to a freaking HBCU, is a member of a Divine Nine sorority, attends every black function you could imagine, and always had. And it didn't start when she became vice president or senator or district attorney. She always has. But now we have this. I mean, this is what we have going on. We are 2 questions in, and this is what we have going on. You're going to see that lie that he just put out there about her not claiming to be black. That is about to be a talking point on Fox News and rolling off of the tongue of every conservative commentator and pundit and curmudgeon this side of heaven. Please be clear. That is the new talking point. They are going to try to sell to people, oh, that she's just starting to claim to be black. And then you're going to have some of our ignorant asses, some of those people that ain't going to vote anyway, but don't want no parts of a black woman being there. They're going to attach themselves to that lie, take hold of that lie, take ownership of it, and try to spew that lie all over the place. I'm just trying to tell you what I know. I'm just trying to tell you what I know. I'm sure right now you can go to the TikTok and find some TikTok person that's going to break down and have all of these old videos and talking points that they have clipped and edited and put together that proves Donald Trump right in that she never claimed to be black. I'm just saying that's what is about to happen for the rest of the week. Not the rest of the night, the rest of the week. Sean, she a Kappa sweetheart? I did not know that. Thank you for that bit of great information. I did not know that, Sean. But this is what we're about to have. That clip right there that we just watched, you will be hearing that clip ad nauseum. He is now, every time he comes, that's the next selling point. That's the thing that he's going to be pushing for the rest of at least for the rest of the month. Well, not this month, but for the rest of August, because today is the end of the month. But yeah, I'm telling you, you gonna hear black people. I told y'all the other day, some of these black people that you about to hear sell those same talking points. Well, yeah, she is. Cause here's what they're gonna say: she is married to a white man. You know that's coming. You know now Donald Trump ain't said, but now that he's introduced that into the zeitgeist, you know that's coming. All of these black people that want to say all of these bad things about Kamala, now it's gonna be like she never did claim to be black. She's always doing things for the Asian community. What has she ever done for the black? You know that's coming. You know it's coming. Child. I don't even go over there to TikTok because TikTok is a fucking dumpster fire with a whole bunch of pontification. And I just can't do it. Let me continue.
This lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you
interview.
told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming.
Wait a minute. We're at the convention of the National Association of Black Journalists, and you go with a lot of the journalists in here are black. Really? Really? You know what? Let's point to he told a truth there. He finally stated a fact, something real and true. At the National Association of Black Journalists, we should probably applaud the fact that he could come out and say a lot of the journalists here are black. Really, sir? Really? I just want to put that out there.
Coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President.
That doesn't even make sense. A black job is anybody that has a job. So a black job is a person? Wait. Let me rewind that a little bit. Hold on. Hold your line.
The best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is.
Wait.
The best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. The best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
The best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million.
He wasn't prepared for them to ask. He wasn't prepared for them to ask him what is a black job. Because the fact that your answer is anyone who has a job, you were not prepared for that. He was not. You and your conservative pundits over there blathering about how Joseph Robinette had nonsensical talking points and had words and phrases that could not be put together to add anything to a rhetorical sentence, him being intelligible. Please tell me how what he's said in the last few minutes is any way, shape, form, or fashion intelligible. I'm just asking. Help us, Father. Let me go back. Let me go back to. Let me go back.
The big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into.
Wait a minute. Which is there? So you're saying she's the border czar and followed that and followed that up and chased that with she's never been to the border. How you a border czar and you've never been? I'm just trying to make sure I understand. Because the only jobs they're taking is black jobs. I just want to reiterate that. I just want to reiterate that.
Country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural.
Let me go back. Let me pause right here. Let me go back. I'm going to go back a little bit. Let's be clear. For the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people just pouring through the border, God of mercy, God of love, you only want to denigrate those people coming from the southern border or those people that are black and brown. What about the millions of people that cross the Canadian border? What about the millions of people that come into our country from various ports of entry, as well as meaning airports or seaports? What about those individuals? Many of whom are coming from Europe, coming from Asia, and other people who may be white and or Asian. Why is there never any? Because if we really want to talk about jobs being taken, what about, because y'all say the Asian demographic, that's the good race. If they come over here and they're Asian, right? They come over here and they're Anglo-Saxon. What about them pouring into our country as well? Are they not taking your wonderful white jobs? Because if I go with your rationale, wouldn't these be jobs that you and your ilk would not want? And so it should be left to us. Like, really? Shouldn't you be concerned about all of the Asians pouring in here, taking jobs, the white people from other countries coming in here, taking jobs? Hell, governor death sentence Ron DeSantis has enacted laws in Florida prohibiting the anyone Asian or that appears to be Chinese or of Chinese descent from buying property, or even in some cases opening businesses in the great state of Florida for fear that they're taking white jobs. So where's the animus for these people? I'm just asking the questions. Because we need to call you out for your racism. Don't try to act like you're concerned. You are not the fuck concerned about immigrants coming in. You are not concerned about all of these jobs that are being taken. You want to be on full display of your racism. You want your country pure white or less black and brown. And you don't want these people coming in because you don't like people that aren't white. Let's continue.
These people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President,
let me pause, because all of the statistics, every entity that keeps records and reports on the statistics of crime have all stated that the crime rate in this country is actually going down. So if what you're saying, sir, is go look it up, Mr. Trump. Every entity that, including the federal government entities and state government entities that classify and chronicle and keep statistics on crime rates, are all in agreement that crime has gone down in this country. So for all of your, bloviating about how awful these people are and how they're hurting the crime rate, you notice how he say will make the crime rate go up, because it hasn't happened yet. You say this has been going on year after year after year after year, but crime rates are going down. Let me let y'all hear him say that it hasn't happened yet. Hold on.
Gang members in other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into
going to be a disaster.
Some of the issues with Black communities.
Hold on, Harrison. I don't like you like that anyway. Hold on, Harris. I don't like you like that anyway, lady. Hello to everybody. I did drop the link if anybody wants to come up and add commentary with me or talk on this with me, help me break this down. You're more than welcome. The link has been dropped in the chat. Hall monitors, if y'all could drop the link in the chat periodically for anybody that wants to come up. Now let's see what Harris is about to tell us. Lord.
I want to get into how you address some of the issues with Black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
Sure.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single Black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the Black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear.
Wait a minute. He said because this woman was unable to get it. Rachel Scott, the woman has her name. Her name is Rachel Scott. Are you just gonna blame everything on Rachel? Girl, you better than me. You better than me. Rachel, girl, you better than me. Because I would have walked up and clocked his ass. Rachel, girl, Rachel. Girl, I applaud you, Rachel, girl. because child.
you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate.
I just want y'all to notice here in Harris's defense, she did push him and say, "How do you fix it?" And then he started to try to answer it, and then immediately, because he has no answers, he has no real substance, he immediately pivoted to talking about Joseph Robinette, who's no longer in the race. Hold on, let y'all see that, because I got to give Harris her credit. I don't really care for her like that, but she did go back and push him and say, "Well, how do you fix it if inflation is such a problem?" And watch the pivot. Watch him start by saying, "Well, we're going to bring down the cost of energy," and then immediately switch to Joseph Robinette. You ain't even told us how you going to help us with the cost of energy.
So what do you do? What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that.
Here we go.
And he was losing very badly in the polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer it toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr. President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is also impacting Black Americans?
and that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water? right?
Yeah, well, police.
It
I
didn't
mean,
look-
police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But
And
again,
they're
why
gonna,
would?
they're going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings.
Stop, sir. Stop. Let's go back, sir. You told us you didn't know nothing about it. Immediately said, oh, the one with the water. So what is it, sir? Either you know about it or you don't know about it. Sir, we need to know. Because you seem to know a lot about it. Oh, the one with the water. You said there should be qualified immunity for all officers. So if we're going with that, sir, he would have immunity even in this case where he shot this woman. If we go with what you said you wanted to enact as a president, where there's immunity, qualified immunity for officers in the line of duty, regardless, with that, he would absolutely have immunity. So you at this moment trying to pivot to tell people how bad the crime rate is has nothing to do with the fact that she asked you a specific pointed question about whether or not this young man should receive immunity. Because you don't really want to answer that. Because your answer is yes, he should. But you know that you're in a room filled with black people, so you're gonna, do all of the dancing and shuffling and skirting around, all of the things, so as not to give the real answer that you want to give, which is yes, he would receive immunity, he wouldn't be charged, and he'd be back on the streets the next day. But let me back up a little bit, because this is where he tries to pivot and switch it over to Chicago's crime rate.
The officer, I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine
you
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous, and they have the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing, because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most.
You did not win the case in Florida, sir. Sir, your bust down the federal judge that you put on the bench down in the great state of Florida threw the case out. You did not win, and she threw it out because she wants to align herself with the Supreme Court Justice with some of the most conservative Supreme Court justices in the form of Clarence Thomas that says that there shouldn't be special counsels for certain situations. And she threw it out saying, oh, because there was a special counsel assigned to this, that it should not, be on my desk. What? So let's not act like you won this case. You got your bust down to have the case thrown out. Let's be clear.
Most difficult case, and I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time.
That's not what happened in that case. You did not win because you were protected under the Presidential Records Act. She threw it out because she felt like she had cover from a technicality about special prosecutors, because of course it's going to be appealed. Of course it'll make its way to the goddamn Supreme Court. And she know Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito are sitting there waiting, literally waiting to get this case so they can strong arm the other conservative justices into aligning with them.
And he had 50 years worth of documents, and they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity
because you
on it.
Win.
We cover you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I
different
didn't
topics
notice you
now.
do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
Sir,
I have
if you
a
don't mind,
hostile
I'd love
judge.
we have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse you. You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here.
And
he also
some of
says
those
that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your campaign
I think
position?
I'm speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him actually, but my interpretation is he's strong.
But you just said you were speaking for him. You literally just said you were speaking for him. Now you got to ask him. I'm just saying.
Only family oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now, you have illegal aliens coming into our country.
Sir, stick to the question.
And many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room. that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening if I'm not elected.
Sir, there is little to no evidence of non-American citizens voting. There's literally less than 10 situations around the entirety of the country combined where you have somebody that's not allowed to vote. And when it does happen, their votes are ceremoniously thrown out. There's no big problem with illegal immigrants coming in this country trying to vote. Because newsflash, if you're a fucking illegal immigrant, you probably aren't going down to vote. So it's to give more attention to yourself. So it's to have government entities looking into who you are and the fact that you're here illegally. This is the idiocy of all of this. When these people start to make these points, oh, you got illegal immigrants doing all of these things. If they are illegal immigrants, sir, they're not trying to draw attention to themselves because they are illegal immigrants, and they're probably not trying to get sent back to where they came from. I'm just saying.
You're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too.
I know
everybody out there can, but it's hard.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong.
Hold on, Harris, girl, we need all that. Because we done sat through probably 20 plus minutes, and now all of a sudden I'm having a hard time hearing too. Girl, now all of a sudden you having a hard time hearing. Girl, I'm not doing this with you, Harris. Girl. Let me back up, cause girl, child, you had a hard time with them getting them edges on that bob too, huh? You want to talk about what we had a hard time doing? What about them edges on this good bob you got here? They had a hard time. With that too, huh? Girl, child. Let me move on.
With that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too.
I know
everybody out there can, but it's hard.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room, but you have many of those people that were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually. Did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. So, and so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days
sorry.
after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know
is so
it is
muffled.
really hard for me to understand
it's just
you too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. I can understand you perfectly talking to Rachel Scott, but he can't understand Harris. That's his girl, though. That's his girl, though. Girl, I'm not doing this with you. I mean, all of these points about JD Vance, and you're so glad that he's so smart and able to do all of that thing. Okay, this is politics. There's a whole lot of smart people, went to a lot of great schools, did a whole lot of things. We could say the same thing about Kamala Harris. She has a stellar career, a stellar academic record. Much more stellar than the man with which you chose for your vice president. If we just going down this road, I mean, we could meet you resume for resume and outdo your resume or from you and your vice president candidate. I mean, what are we talking about here? And y'all in this microphone, you seem to hear her well enough to be able to answer the question that she gave you. Oh, I can barely hear you, but I can hear her. Oh, girl. Oh, girl.
Sir.
I can understand you.
Happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
Really happy to hear
understand,
that.
Harris,
I have a few more questions.
because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
So,
Are you asking a question?
what you're saying. Go
so
ahead.
what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally.
Wait. You should never hear prophetic used as an adjective to describe anything that this young man does and or says. I never want to hear the word prophetic used to describe anything about this young man. There's nothing prophetic about him. I just want to put that out there. Dear God above, help us, Jesus. Help us, Lord. Help us. Help us.
3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life, you told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at JD Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
What is that? Harris, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is she losing brain cells like him? Because I don't understand the nature of how she put that question together. Bad things happen. Is he ready on day one? Are you saying that the man is about to get taken out of here? Are you saying that he's about to, going on to, to the other side? Are you saying he's about to get assassinated? I'm just asking. Lord. Anyway, let me listen to that question one more time.
3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life, you told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at JD Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have
Wait, hold, stop, hold. You just did a whole 5-minute soliloquy about how great JD Vance was, read through his whole goddamn resume, talked about all of these beautiful things, only for when she asked you, is he ready to go on day one, you to say, oh, he don't matter. Oh, he's of no consequence. Oh, we don't need to talk about him. Really? Am I missing this? Are y'all hearing the same thing that I heard? Because the man just said, oh, JD Vance don't matter. She asked you, will he be ready on day one? Because bad things happen, saying, oh, you could get taken out again. Will he be ready on day one just in case bad things happen to you? And you follow that up with, oh, he don't matter. He's of no consequence. But you just gave us a whole 10-minute soliloquy about how important he was. Girl, I'm trying. Let me rewind that. I just want to make sure I heard that right. Hold on.
great respect for him and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually.
You know what this is about. And you throwing your own VP pick under the bus to do it. This is about him being afraid of who Kamala is about to pick for her VP. Oh, they're definitely afraid about who Kamala is going to pick for her VP because they know that could have a whole lot to do with and be very consequential to changing the map, changing swing states, and so forth. And you ceremoniously said, well, if it doesn't matter about JD Vance, it doesn't matter. He's of no consequence. Is you trying to diminish whoever she picks for her VP? However, sir, sir, you've just thrown your own VP pick under the bus. I'm just saying.
Never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons.
Wow. So maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered. If that's the case, sir, in this falling into her question lines up with the Lyndon Johnson matter because you just got shot at. You just had an assassination attempt. So if Lyndon Johnson mattered because there was an assassination on JFK, wouldn't JD Vance matter? So you're saying that JD Vance doesn't matter because you know that can never happen to you, right? Is that what you're saying? You know that can never happen to you? Let me rewind that a little bit. Hold on. Let me make sure I heard that right. Because he did throw the JFK situation and Lyndon B. Johnson out there. I just want to put that out there.
Like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been, but you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my JD.
So JD doesn't have anything to do with you winning or not winning. I'm just wanting to ask. You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Sha. Here. The man say JD don't matter.
But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my JD Vance question in.
JD Vance?
I'm going to get my JD Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point is here.
But at least it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, Do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing.
No, stop. There's nowhere in America where they're allowing abortions up to the 9th month. Stop it. That's not happening. That's not legal anywhere in these yet to be United States of America. Girl, I just hate that they throw this stuff out there and there's no truth to it. You know there's no truth to it at all. Girl, like that's not happening anywhere.
Do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But
death.
I think it's
They're
about
allowing
freedom,
the
right?
death of a baby after the baby is born, based on.
They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born. Where, sir? Where? So he's basically saying you go through your 9+ month, 40 weeks of pregnancy, push the baby out, and then they allow the doctor to just kill the baby right there. That's what you're alluding to, sir. Where? Where? Show me the case where they're allowing for them to kill the baby right then. Show me, sir. I'm waiting. Please. Please. This is not happening anywhere. These are scare tactics. These are things that they are throwing out there for their rabid base. There's none of this happening anywhere. And it has nothing to do with women having reproductive rights in this goddamn country. It's just ridiculous.
Sir, that is
governor of
illegal in
Virginia,
every state in the country.
Based on the governor of Virginia.
Thank you. That is illegal in every state.
Judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying.
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But
death.
I think it's
They're
about
allowing
freedom,
the death
right?
of a baby after the baby is born, based on
Sir,
the
that is
governor
illegal
of Virginia.
in every state in the
That's
country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing the
every
death
state
of
in
the
the country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born.
It's a
They're
crime.
allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well,
of
Democrats
pregnancy.
have denied.
I think they're right. And I
That's
think
the
the
thing.
Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it, everybody.
But the
wanted
majority
it
of
back.
Americans oppose
Excuse
Roe
me.
v. Wade being
They
overturned.
don't
Multiple
know
polls have
about
showed that,
this.
sir.
Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing, out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing.
What?
It's been surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting. And it's taking.
And they're voting against it. They're voting against it. But you are on the campaign trail touting how you got rid of abortion rights. Yet in every state, even the reddest of red states, they're voting against what you claim that you caused to happen. I'm just putting that out there, sir. Thank y'all for being here and enduring this. I know it's hard, y'all. I know it's hard listening to this, but I just needed y'all to really digest this like I have. So when you have these people that come at y'all talking about why they should or should not be voting for Kamala. I need y'all to know what we're up against.
It's the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on, and they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting, and it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do we do?
That's not true. That's so not true. We set the baby aside and decide what to do. No. What are you talking about?
Execute the baby.
Can I?
That's a rat.
What are you talking? So they just sit the baby to the side after you have it. Well, do we kill the baby or don't we kill the baby? No, sir. No. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Nobody's ever said that. That's never happened. Jesus God.
Radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my goodness.
Like,
I'm
really?
fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't
you
ask
can
me a
answer the
question.
question.
She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your
answer the
statement, sir,
question.
actually.
You said you would. You would
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If
to
I
step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them, and
Where are the results of these
I
2
took 2
tests?
of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president.
But I thought you told us just a few minutes ago vice presidents didn't matter. You just told us that. You just told us vice presidents don't matter. You're voting for the top of the ticket.
In the history of our
Mr.
country.
Don't mean to
President.
interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test
Mr. President.
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public?
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President,
suggested-
how do you
Your president.
intend to?
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass. her
No,
law
she
exam, so
didn't.
Maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr.
Are
President.
you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
to be clear, you
No,
don't think
you're
How
not.
do you intend,
She
and
didn't
look,
pass her bar exam.
She did.
And she didn't think she would pass it. and
Oh,
she
dear
didn't think
God.
She was going to have it pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it. I
She
guess
did pass it.
There's a
She
man
did-
over
she
here.
did
I
in
think
fact pass
he
it.
must work. for
Mr.
her.
President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones, at least one officer lost an eye, one had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs, another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in
You're a builder, you know about, wait a minute.
Viciously attacked
The lady asked you about January fucking 6th. You talking about a couple days ago that you said there was an attack on the Capitol. So there was no attack on the Capitol a couple days ago. I'm just saying. There was some protests, but there was no attack on the Capitol, not like the terrorist attack that occurred on January 6th, 2021, where they were threatening to kill the vice president and the speaker of the House.
our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city?
But sir, my question is on those.
What's going to happen to
my
the people
question is
that
on
tried
those
to
rioters
bring
who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to,
Would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon
innocent,
those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just
They've been convicted.
Well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come?
So you talk about black people now. Y'all know he talk about black people now. He's talking about Black Lives Matter from 2020, right? Because you want to throw us in there. Nothing happened to you and your people descended from the Caucasus Mountains that literally tried to overthrow the federal government and literally took over the Capitol building and tried to kill government officials. You want nothing to them but peaceful protesters in Black Lives Matter protesting because there's an actual genocide happening with regard to black people in this country that y'all don't want to talk about. And these people peacefully protesting, and those are the people that you want locked up. I'm just asking.
But sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Really? Well,
you would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis. You know, people died in Minneapolis. And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in.
That's not,
what about that? Look.
That's not true.
Nothing is perfect in life. But you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C., they were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that.
Oh, wow.
We're going to win our cases and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before. And it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They got to be white. We want people. I want people to come into our country. but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down so people can buy bacon again. So people can
But wait a minute. Now, one of the things that I've always had issues with Biden is the fact that he was drill, baby, drill. Biden been out there drilling up a storm too. So how is that any different? Let me shut up.
a ham sandwich again so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project
Mr. Pre-
2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the
Okay.
Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank
honor.
you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
NABJ will email about details regarding the conversation with Vice President Kamala.
And that was the entirety of said interview. Listen, I first of all, let me sincerely apologize for forcing you all to endure all of that. I know some of y'all was spiking out. I know some of y'all was spiking out. Where's Larry? Larry, help us out. We need Larry to sing us through this. Larry.
You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So love now, I want to fight. That he gave, his only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major sugar spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus. Listen, Ronald, I am with you. They crossing the border and taking black journalists' jobs. Like, bruh, what is happening? But no, I don't think that was time. I think the Trump team said, get his ass out of there. He done did enough damage. We don't need him to say nothing else. Because when they heard Project 2025, I'm sure the Trump team said, nope, that's it. We ain't answering no more questions. Because he was willing to sit there. And when they heard about Project 2025, nope, that's it. End it now. Girl. I told y'all about to hear this for the rest of the month of August that Kamala is not black. That's what you finna hear for the rest of the month. That Kamala is not black. They take their cues from their demagogue. And as much of a lie as it is, all they need it to do is for it to be uttered off his lips, and if it comes out of his mouth, it immediately switches from being a lie to being the truth, because they are, in the United Church of Trump, and anything that he says immediately becomes true gospel doctrine. So if he say the woman is not black, she ain't black. Just in the same way he said Barack Obama wasn't American. He wasn't American. But it doesn't matter. Black, white, blue, or purple, Indian or not. We coming for that ass, Trump. We are coming for that ass. please believe, even if she not, she is about to whoop your ass. Black, white, or other, red or yellow, black and white. Child, I ain't see the fact check. Tracy, put it in the members only chat. Tracy, put it in the members on. Put the link to the members only chat because I ain't see it. I've been working. But yes, I wanted to bring that and break that down to y'all. I wanted y'all to see actually what's going on. The NABJ needed to actually see, because they wanted his ass to come up there. The people tried to tell him he does not need a platform, and y'all gave his ass a platform, and it was a whole fucking shit show. This is why I always preach over here. Certain people and certain things don't need to see the light of day. I do not need to give you airspace on my channel. I do not need to give you time to come up here and spew your fuck shit, because it's not worth it. And so now from here on out, it will be, that's what you're about to hear from now until November, that the woman is not black. Oh, thank you, Social Jeff. I did have an announcement. So the announcement is, starting next week, I'm going to have a weekly political politics panel. There will be other people on that. It's not just going to be me. It's going to be a panel. It'll be a weekly panel on Tuesday. There'll be some people on there you'll be surprised to see, but we are going to talk politics and rightly divide the news cycle and the election cycle and everything that's getting out there in the public. So we're going to try to do this from now until the election, and then we may do some more after the election to rightly divide some of the stuff that you'll be hearing. I think you'll really enjoy it. And you won't just get to hear my commentary, but you'll get to hear the commentary from other people, and they'll have a lot of great things to say. Some of you all have been asking me about that, so we're going to do that. It'll be on Tuesday nights, probably. I'm thinking probably around 8:00 on Tuesday nights. So look forward to that. I'm not going to share who's going to be on it. Just say it'll be next Tuesday, will be the first one, and when you see it, you'll enjoy it and have a good time with everybody that's on it. So look forward to that. That's our programming note. Other programming note, if you would, Tracy, put Darren Green's channel up. I'm supposed to be on Darren Green's channel tonight at 7:30. So look for me tonight at 7:30 on Darren Green's channel. I am very hungry. Thank y'all for all of the great things that y'all have to say about the panel. I'm sure it'll go great. I'm sure it'll be quite it'll be fun. It's going to be fun and quite enlightening. Yes. And don't ask Amanda, you know what? Anyway, there are ways to contribute to the platform scrolling at the bottom. If you want to contribute content, you can email me or send me a DM or things like that. If you want to contribute monetarily to the platform, that is also scrolling at the bottom. We got to keep the lights on in this place. And so if you want to help contribute to that, we be over here doing the Lord's work. It's not a lot of people that would have sat here and sat through that whole situation. That was like 45 minutes. It's not a whole lot of people that would have sat through like 45 minutes of watching that young man just to break it down for y'all. We're over here doing the Lord's work. Do you hear me? The Lord's work. So certainly if you feel inclined to donate to the platform, please do so monetarily at the Cash App scrolling below. I did make the announcement. I told you to put the fact check in the members only chat, Tracy. I did make the announcement. Tracy, can you put Darren Green's channel in the chat, please, for me, Tracy? Thank you. Oh, I see it now. I see it, Tracy. I see it. Okay. So anyway, but we do political commentary around here just about every day. So you could come around here. If you haven't done so already, I saw a lot of new people. Please subscribe to the platform. We do this all the time. This is not new for us, but we certainly have political commentary every day. We do a little pop culture too. But in this critical and sensitive time, within our country. Certainly, having you informed of all things going on politically, things that will certainly um, 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 hit you and your family and your communities. We certainly want to make you aware of those things and get you the facts and rightly divide this stuff for you. So, as I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. I thank y'all so much for rocking over here with us. Is Really Be going live? Let me check. See, is Really Be going live? Hold on. Hold your line. Let me check and see. Is she going live? Hold your line. Hold on. See what we got going on here. Chicken, get your chicken here. But yeah, I thought that I really felt like y'all needed to really see that. So when people come at you with the foolishness, talking about why they are not going to vote for Kamala, you could, be like, listen, it's this is too important. We can't be doing this. Nope, she does not have a live setup. Okay. So Shondo, to you and yours. I hope y'all enjoyed this today. And as things come out, we'll do more of this. What is the name of the other channel for tonight? It's the Darren Green show. Hold on. Let me get that for you. I don't know what Tracy is. She's supposed to be getting that for me. Hold on, y'all. Just a second. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Let me get that. Okay, here we go. There it is right there. That is Darren Green's channel. There is Darren Green's channel. I think we're supposed to start at 7:30. That gives me about 45 minutes to get something quick to eat and be back here. That's all I got for y'all for today. I love y'all. I thank y'all so much for rocking with me. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. Bye, y'all.